to Mel's Sparkling Kaszazz. Today we're going to have a really quick look at some texture paste and the different looks that you can have with it. I absolutely love texture paste. Just by changing the colours and the stencil you can completely change a look. So here are two cards that I've actually previously made, and as you can see they both have the same stamps and background, and all I've changed is the colours and the stencil with two completely different looks. So just love it. It can be used on other things as well. So this is the same principle on scrapbook. So the texture paste has just been used in the corners to add a little bit of texture, a little bit of something. So you've got the matching ones there, and that's the matching again. So you know, very simple layout, not much added really, just a little bit of colour and texture paste, some photo mats. So yeah, away you go. So the really good thing with texture paste that I found is it will pick up colour very easily. So I'm just going to really quickly put some colour on the cardstock first, and that way we can have a look at what it does when it dries. So I'm just going to really quickly, doesn't matter what colour, this is, you know, and I'll show you the difference between doing it before and after. I tend to put my colour down first when I'm doing a background. The cards that I showed you earlier, I did the colour in first, and the colour that you can see through the texture paste is actually the texture paste absorbing the ink through as it dries. So I'm just gonna grate the stencils. I have a range of them, but I've just picked out these two for today. So gonna use a brick stencil, and like I said, I'm gonna do some over the colour, and I'll do some around the colour as well. Now, the great thing about working with stencils is don't forget that you can quite easily mask off areas that you don't want. All you need is a little bit of washi tape to mask off those areas. So if I only wanted to do the top part pink, where the colour is, all I have to do is just mask off that little bit, and it just helps that way to keep the texture paste exactly where you want it. Great for fine detail texture paste. So we're just gonna tape off a little bit in the middle. Oh. So as you can see, I've just put some washi tape just around. Now, you don't have to use plain washi tape, you can use any normal washi tape if it's easy for you to see. We then get our wonderful texture paste and our palette knife. And for anyone who does cake decorating, very much like icing a cake. So we just want to dab the texture paste on and then smooth across. So we just smooth that across using the edge of the knife. I'm going to do some in the middle as well, just to show you. Just do more here. I love the brick stencil. I usually use the brick stencil on mail-based things, but it can be used for absolutely anything. It's so versatile. But I love using the brick stencil because you don't have to do all of the bricks and it still looks really effective. Okay, so then all we do is we just remove our stencil. Do wash your stencils as soon as you finish though, because as soon as the texture paste has dried, if you've got that in your stencil, it will stick and it won't come off once it's dry. So make sure you wash your stencils as soon as you can. So there we have our texture paste. As you can see, it has a 3D look, and although the colour hasn't come through on this one yet, it will by the time it's dry. Now, because it has a 3D look, you can wait until it's dry and then use your ink blending tool to go over the top. I'm just going to use the heat tool now to do part of it. I want to show you that if you can use the heat tool, it actually bubbles and comes up higher again. So I'm just going to use the heat tool for some of that other section. And you should be able to see that bubbling in a minute. Now you've got to do this bit while it's still wet, otherwise you won't have that bubbling effect. So in a minute you'll see it bubble. There it goes there. And as it bubbles, it really, really puffs out and has quite an effective look. This does make it easier to use the ink blending tool afterwards to add some colour and not get it on the background. And obviously dries it quicker as well. But just be aware that if you're using it to dry, it will give that puffy look. So, see the difference there? That's my puffy bit. Okay, so I'm just going to add some colour to that now. Again, just by gently swiping the ink blending tool across the texture paste. And I have coloured my texture paste without getting any on my background. You can very slightly see the colour starting to form up underneath, and yeah, like I said, once it dries, that'll come right through like it has done on the cards as well. So I'm just going to do a word now as well, just to show you that it can really do anything you like. So we will do the word focus. And again, it's exactly the same principle. If you're worried about getting some of the other words in, just tape it off. So, you know, if you want to put some tape in there to just stop getting the other words around it, then just, yeah. The tape can also be used to hold the stencil in place. I prefer to actually hold my stencil. I get nervous, a little bit nervous relying on the tape too much. I just feel more control if I'm holding it, but it does make it a little bit harder to then get more texture paste and keep the stencil in. So make, you know, it's just as easy to do that. Again, just peel off the stencil. And there you have it. So again, you can use that on coloured card and have the white come through, or you can wait till it dries, put some colour through afterwards, or put the colour down before. So that's our texture paste. Thank you for joining me again today, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.